Hi, this is Imagination with a Healing Garden, and welcome to PANDO. So we are focusing on anger, but it's not anger. It's the hostility. It's confrontation. It's something I've noticed. It's something I had to overcome. It was very hard. It's this concept that when you meet somebody, because you don't know, your defense is immediately up. And it's this immediate assumption that they're going to attack. So you have learned to attack, assume, and it's very confrontational. That's the best word for this, is being confrontational. And it starts off, and this is absolutely a symptom of being around narcissists, is they've trained you to defend without there ever being any need for it. And this is really the cusp of healing, is you've healed when this goes away. This is it right here. You are healed when you are no longer confrontational, when you no longer argue. There's no arguing. You don't argue. It doesn't exist. It takes up so much energy that on this side of it, you're going, I would rather preserve my peace than argue. And this is it, is they use excuses like, oh, well, I'm debating. Well, I love to debate. I'm a logician. That is not debate. In fact, Socrates said, true debate is emotionless, and it is. So don't let them tell you that they love to debate. They're assholes, and they're lying to you. So I wish I could pinpoint the precise thing I need to say, because I've been analyzing, again, narcissists. Watch every time I get around one, I'm like, ooh, let's study it. Let's figure this out. And I had exposure to one yesterday, and I watched, and I went, what is he doing? I'm analyzing his behavior, pinpointing it. And then I watched him, and it's absolutely boy who cried wolf. Boy who cried wolf. That's it. It's the boy who cried wolf. Boy who cried wolf. I had this conversation with myself once, on one of my YouTube past videos. The boy who cried wolf. And that is exactly it. The boy who cried wolf. But it's lying. We know it's lying. Yeah, and I think that's it. And I watched him attack, aggress, and then change the subject. So he had the red herring, change the subject, divert, strategically vague. Strategically vague. He weaponized vagueness. Oh, I love doing this stuff. This is just send me all the narcissists and I'll analyze them. It was literally deliberately vague. He was literally weaponizing confusion. See, I know that shit though. I know that shit. And he literally spouted out a single word: contradiction. That's all he said. Contradiction. That doesn't even make sense. Just contradiction. Clarify. And he wouldn't. Instead, he just laughed. So he mocked. This is the dumbest thing ever. This is the dumbest thing ever. He literally confused, or contradiction. He took the 12 ethics and he highlighted one of them and he went, contradiction. That's not even a sentence. And I said, I'm going to need you to clarify. And then he laughed, mocking me. And then he condescended like I was an idiot because he wasn't using full sentences. So you have weaponized confusion, absolute vague, mocked when you didn't follow his nonsense, and then condescended because you didn't follow his nonsense. And then he attacked someone else, derogatory language. This is amazing. The ethic that he attacked, by the way, was the 6th ethic, which is equal footing. And he saw equal footing and it triggered his narcissism because he needs the upper hand. So when he saw the 12th ethic, equal footing, he became immediately aggressive. And he right away contradicted. It's like, clarify. And then he laughed. And then he said something. He used the word baby in a very derogatory sense. And I'm like, excuse you. No. Then that's when his hostility really kicked up. Then he attacked one of my people, went after her, started confusing her. He started bossing her around. Immediately, it was extraordinary to watch. We protected her. She's okay. And it was extraordinary to watch. Meanwhile, I've got people pointing it all out to me, and I'm already watching him like, is she going to stand up to them? Does she need help? Should we interfere? I stepped in at one point, and I'm like, no, not allowed. He attacked me. I kicked him out of the group. He went over to another group that he didn't know I was in. He immediately posted, warning, this person is hostile, this person is aggressive, this person is, and it was just garbage lies. And it's the exact same thing a nemesis of Edgar Allan Poe did to Edgar Allan Poe that made Edgar Allan Poe famous. So I went, woohoo, publicity. I said, thank you. That's the same stuff that made Edgar Allan Poe famous. So I humiliated him. And then, which is exactly what they need. And then the whole thing just like completely broke down. And I was just watching the progression trigger because of that 6 ethic equal footing. And then the whole thing collapsed. And watching that strategic vagueness was it right there. Strategic vagueness. And then mocked. I can't get over the mocking. Followed by condescension. It's like he said a joke that only he knew, that only he was in on. And I've seen this. We all have. It's like they tell a joke that doesn't even make sense, that they are the only ones who understand. And then they condescend like you have inferior knowledge, but it's their failure to communicate. And that's it right there. It is sloppy failure to communication. It's like your English and your communication is terrible. It wasn't his English. His communication was terrible. It was abysmal. He wasn't even, and I said logical proof. I said, provide me with a logical proof. You're going to need to provide verbs. And I said this to him. You need to be providing verbs and nouns, because that's what makes up a sentence. And instead he mocked and condescended. And I'm like, he was an idiot. And it was just extraordinary to watch the decompression. So here's the thing is that hostility, anger, and it immediately riled everybody up. Like everyone immediately had that bad tension. So that is the overall what we see from that hostility, that aggression, that anger. And what they're really going for, and this is it right there, is you've got 2 logical codes happening. Well, yeah, you've got 2 logical codes. You have your rod of truth, and that's Mother Nature's logic. That's it, Mother Nature's logic. And you're either aligned to it or you're not. You're not going to budge this thing. Mother Nature's logic doesn't move. That's physics. You're not going to win it. But we have another logical core in our society that actually contradicts Mother Nature. So now there's this Mother Nature versus the system, which is why the system is breaking, is because it's built off of a contradiction of logic that's not compatible with Mother Nature. And it's starting to crumble down. So when I did my healing and I was able to start to realize this, and I surrounded myself with people who weren't hostile, it opened up so many doors. It was extraordinary. It took a while to get used to. It was culture shock. You're going to have culture shock. You're absolutely going to have culture shock from this. You can't go through this and not feel it. You're going to have grief, which is absolutely the grieving process. You're going to have relief. The relief is indescribable because it's that over the top. It's culture shock, grief, and then relief. It's literally a feeling of, oh my God, it's safe. And then underneath that, we have this beautiful space of just, wow, it's, how do I explain it? Culture shock, grief, relief. It's when you can start putting your armament down. You literally disarm. That's it right there. You disarm. Now you're ready for the first ethic. Now you're ready for the first ethic. You can't even begin the triadic healing until you get that cocktail. Culture shock, grief, relief, disarming. And now you're ready for the first ethic. Most people are trying to do the first ethic, self-care, and they don't even have that cocktail. They don't even have, they're walking around with full arms going, yeah, I'm doing self-care. Yeah, I'm doing self-care. And they're meditating. And it's like, this doesn't work. You need to do culture shock. It's literally a psychologically safe place. That's what this is. You need a psychologically safe place. And then you get your culture shock once you realize you have to become aware that you are psychologically safe. So I have people coming into my PANDO group on WhatsApp, and I have a couple people, one person went out and just aggressively attacked. And there was nothing. And it was just a miscommunication. But it's the conditioning from the trauma of condition to miscommunication is an error. So immediately miscommunication is a trigger. Miscommunication is a trigger because narcissists use miscommunication as a weapon, which is exactly what happened, which is what the example I gave earlier. They use miscommunication as a weapon. And then you learn to associate miscommunication with war. So as soon as there was a misunderstanding, and here's the thing, misunderstanding is just, you need to make sure that you're over here on this logical comprehension. You just need to make sure you're over here. And once you understand that you're aligned over here to the correct core, you're fine. And that's it right there. You just need to make sure you are aligned to the right core. And once you have that perspective, once you realize you have to shift over to that logical core, it's absolutely faith and trust in yourself to defend yourself. It's trust in your own self-preservation system. It's trust in your own ability to use discernment. It's trust in your own ethics. It's trust in your own cardinal values. It's trust in your own self-authority. It's trust in your own logic. And this is really what it comes down to. And this is why I say to people, you really need to take a step back and go analyze yourself, go spend time with yourself, because you've got trust issues, not with other people, with yourself. And once you put that to rest, once you assess that, oh, then you're fine. But that's the work that's got to be done. That's it right there. And it's a difference of night and day once you get to that point. It's practicing. And this is the other thing. This is something I really want to emphasize. These are skills that you have to practice. So you have apprentice level skills, you have tradesman skills, you have master level skills, and then you have philosopher skills. People look at me with my healing and they're like, wow, I can't wait till I'm healed that much. There isn't healed this much. It's called a master of a skill. That's all you're doing. Perspective. You're an apprentice level skill. When you start off, you're just an apprentice with these skills. Once you become a master of the skills, you're fine. You're just doing skill building. You're not healing. You're skill building. So in order to do skill building, you need to know how to practice these skills. But you got to call a duck a duck. And that's the problem. People aren't calling a duck a duck. They're going, oh, it's healing. No, it's not. You're skill building. That's what you're doing. You're learning. The thing is, you should have learned this when you were 1 year old, when you were 2, but mom and dad didn't teach you. They interfered with it. That's the problem. Instead of learning these skills, they fucked you up. So we're learning them now. That's the difference. There is no healing. Healing is a delusion. Yes, I have the healing garden. It's because it's marketable and it's familiar to people and it gives them comfort. But it's bullshit. It's not healing. But if I had said the remembering garden, oh, that would have been cool. Why am I thinking about this now, right? The remembering garden. That would have been really fucking awesome. The remembering garden. Can I relabel now? Do I want to rebrand? I'm probably not going to rebrand. But damn, that's really catchy. I wish I had thought of that instead, the remembering garden. But there you go. That's exactly it, though. See, the people hear healing and, oh, there you go. But it's the very first thing I tell people is there's no such thing as healing. You're not healing. What you're doing is you're remembering and you're understanding. You're learning and you're learning skills. That's what you're doing. You're just learning. This is learning. This is just learning. What you've been doing your whole life isn't learning. That's not learning. That's information. But that's not learning. And that's the difference. Once you understand what this is, that this is learning, it's like, oh, I'm just learning a skill. Yeah, you're just learning skills. The same skills that natural parenting would have taught you if. And that's it. That's really what it comes down to. So get back on your learning journey of the discovered self and you'll be fine. And that's just it. And there's stages. So once you learn the skills, and you practice the skills. But before you can do that, you've got to make sure, in order to get into that, you've got to have that preliminary. You've got to turn the soldier off. So you're either in one of two places. These are two places. This is either no man's land. This is what I talk about in Breaking Delusion. You have no man's land. What is the other place I call it? No man's land, or the escape room. That's right. It was the escape room. So you're either in no man's land or you're in the escape room. If you're in the escape room, you got another problem. You're already out of the war, and you don't have a problem with the whole, your defense is already down, you're already gentle. You have another problem, and that's not it. So this doesn't apply to you if you're in the escape room. This is only applying to you if you're in no man's land. If you've been in no man's land all your life and you're coming into Pando in the healing garden, this is going to apply to you. And I have people walking in like with this metaphorical gun in their hands, fatigues, going, all right, I'm here to heal. Okay, you need to first put the gun down and chill. It's okay. And they're like holding onto their gun like, no, I need this. No, you don't. It's like in Walking Dead when they got to Alexandria, no relation. When they got to Alexandria and they wouldn't put down their arms, and they're like, we're not giving up our weapons, and they're twitching. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. They just came out of no man's land. And it took them a few days before they and you see it like, do I put down the weapon? That's what you're going through. And you're not going to start healing or learning until you get through that stage. So this is like hyper focusing on the transition of no man's land. And that's it. You've got to transition from no man's land. And if you haven't done the transition to no man's land, you're not going to start trident healing. It's not going to work. You can go through the material all you want. But if you haven't transitioned from no man's land, nope. Because you haven't gotten it, which is the war is over. The war is over. And there's somebody watching this going, no, it's not. No, it's not. In time. In time. When you're there. When you're there. The escape room. The escape room is where people are when they struggle with addiction. The escape room is completely different. The escape room is, they have cocooned themselves so deep into their room that their room shrinks, is an ever shrinking prison. And that's why they have panic attacks. That's why they have the addiction problems that they have. That's why they're caught in 3 logic loops. And the escape room is literally a suffocating, shrinking prison. And yeah, they're terrified of addiction. They're terrified of living life. They have more fear than courage. So they end up becoming imprisoned in their own fear. That's the escape room. They've never lived to ever get into a situation of no man's land. They've never been into the adventuring zone to even cross into no man's land. So there's 4 places basically. You have no man's land, you have the adventure zone. I live in the adventure zone. And then you have the comfort zone. I like to call it the genie bottle. So you have a genie bottle, and then you have the escape room. And where you want to be is toggling between genie bottle and adventure zone. Genie bottle, adventure zone. And I've got a kindergarten room also. So I go kindergarten room, adventure zone, and genie bottle. That's literally mine. I've got a discovery center. That's my adventure zone. So I have a discovery center. I have a kindergarten room, and then I've got a genie bottle. And that's where I toggle. Now, if you're in the discovery center too long, then it turns into no man's land or the elephant graveyard. And then if you are in the genie bottle will actually turn into an escape room that shrinks. So, and that's it right there. That's it right there. Is if you've got to figure out if you're in no man's land or the escape room. And if you're in no man's land, you're going to need one type of transition to get yourself into the discovery room, into the genie bottle. And then if you're in the escape room, you're going to have to get yourself from the escape room into the genie bottle, into the discovery room. And that's the problem. And that is exactly the problem, is people are really struggling with they're not in the genie bottle. So while you can do all the self-care you want, it's not going to do anything, which is why self-care doesn't work, is because it's a Band-Aid. It's just a Band-Aid. I never do self-care. I never do self-care. I got people going, what do you do? Nothing. They're like, what? You never? I don't. I don't need to. I don't do chakra stones. I don't meditate. I am a chakra stone. I do manifest, but I manifest answers and solutions because I'm playing with physics. So I use physics to get what I want, but I don't do positive affirmations. What I do is grounding. I ground myself and I energize. But I know how to turn on my generator because this is all physics now. This is all physics. So I know how to ground myself and I know how to, so grounding yourself. I found what grounds me and I integrated it into my life stream and my work. For instance, are you ready for this? I ground myself when I network. I ground myself when I do a YouTube video. I ground myself when I write articles. This is my job. So my job is literally the elements that ground me. So while I do my job, I'm getting grounded all day long. I talk on my YouTube. I do my little lectures on WhatsApp. I'm grounding myself. Because I've integrated that right into my work, I never burn out. This is why I don't get burned out, because I'm grounding myself. And then the energy from my gorgeous people are nourishing me. So they're energizing me. So I'm constantly being healed while I work. This is how you set up business. I teach you how to do this. It's really awesome. So I have my grounding and my energizing, and my people do that for me, and then I do it for them, and we got this great little engine going. It's an engine. So when I use the physics to energize them, which energizes me, which energizes them, which grounds me, and then I go over here and I do more grounding, and then I energize. So by the time I'm done with work, I'm good. Then I get to just chill in my kindergarten room. If I have a bad day, yesterday was a bad day. If I have a bad day, I get myself a pizza because I love pizza. And then I watch TV with my pizza. That's how I ground myself. There you go. That's how I love this. I love this. It's taking the force. It's the force. It's taking the force, love, and it's literally surrounding myself with love. And I love pizza. So that's what I do. Doritos and pizza while I watch TV. And there you go. I'm done. That's self-care. That's it. I take a shower because I'm a mermaid. So there's a lot of water in my life. So that's, yeah. But it's not to get clean. It's because I need water. I take a lot of showers. I need water. Like, I'm a mermaid. It's a problem I have. I live by the sea. I seriously need water. So once you know what grounds you and energizes you, incorporate that right into your life and your business. So you're doing it no matter what, and it's generating income for you. And there you go. You're good. You're set. You're happy. And yeah, it's that simple. It is that simple. But if you're still in no man's land, it's not going to work for you. It's not going to work at all. That's all I'm going to say about that. So thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you. If you want to continue this discussion, grab the link below and come see me on WhatsApp. Thank you. May the kindest of words always find you.